You're listening to the Wanderers Podcast, Episode 6. Alisa State is a unicorn-obsessed, Transylvania-loving, proud Latvian who likes to live life to the fullest. Her spontaneous spirit is exactly what brought her to Romania when she met the man she would later marry. They had a baby boy, but things happen in life, and now Alisa is raising her son as a divorcee together with her Romanian ex-husband. She lives in Brașov, and in a time when more Romanians are looking to leave the country, Alisa believes that there is still great potential to be unveiled here. In our conversation, we get to talk about Romania's breathtaking nature, its less than breathtaking care of its monuments and cultural heritage, what Alisa feels about the Romanian education system, and what Romania can learn from Latvia in dealing with its communist past. All of that and more in Episode 6 of the Wanderers Podcast. Hi, Alisa.
Hey, Daniela.
How are you doing?
Well, quite okay. Just came from work and waiting for you to start this interview.
I'm very happy that you are here on the podcast. And let's start. Let's get directly into the chat and go with your name. Your name is Alisa State. And if people wouldn't know, they would think that you either are Romanian or have some Romanian roots. But that is neither the case since you come originally from Riga, Latvia. So how does this name situation happen?
Well, after I married a Romanian, I got the surname. And as you mentioned, actually, due to my work nature, I have to interact with different kind of countries and, of course, with Romania as well. And normally when the Romanians contact me, they start the conversation directly with the Romanian language because, of course, they see the surname and they are sure that I'm Romanian. So, yeah, that's usually really fun. Especially when I start to speak a bit of Romanian because I managed to learn some. But then when they start to ask a bit more complicated questions, I skip to English saying, well, sorry, but actually I'm not Romanian. And then they are a bit shocked. And then they ask, where do I come from? And I say that I'm coming from Latvia, but I'm Russian. So yeah, that's fun. But yeah. And I left the surname after a divorce just because, first of all, I want to have the same surname with my son. And yeah, secondly, if I'm staying here, I think it would be logical just to leave the Romanian surname. So yeah, that's the story.
And keep getting people confused.
Well, after a while, I hope I'm going to manage to learn Romanian even better. So I will be able to keep the whole conversation. And yeah, some of them sometimes are feeling guilty and they're starting to apologize, saying, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. And that's, yeah, a bit also sometimes fun. But
you actually mentioned at one point a story when we were talking outside of the podcast about you being in the airport and being called Alisa State, if I remember.
Oh yeah, that's also that's the case as well. And actually, when I just married and I changed my surname on Facebook as well, people who would not know me that well, so let's say not the closest friends, they didn't understand what's happening, and they were also sure that it's actually State. And yeah, they were asking what's up with your new nickname. And I said, it's not a nickname, it's actually a surname and it's pronounced State. Well, yeah. And even when I personally, I met my husband, so to say, online, because we met online at work, me being in Latvia and him being in Romania. And especially because I never met Romanian people before until up that moment. And I was reading like Dragos State. And I was like, what is that? Is it a nickname? Is it like a dragon state or something? I was really confused. So yeah.
Just with a little typo.
Yeah, so because in Skype you cannot put that little sh letter, so it was also fun with his surname first, and then I had fun with my surname as well.
Such a cute legacy. So, how did you decide to come and live in Romania?
We did speak just for work with my ex-husband, and then it went out of the work environment online. Then we spoke online for, I don't know, I think at least 6 months or 7. And we did spend a lot of time with camera, Skype, and everything. And then we met. First, when I met him, actually, first time in person, I came here. Then he came there, and then again I came here. So yeah, and of course we were having the feelings toward each other, and I just decided to move. So I moved for him in the first place.
Aww.
Yeah, I had a good life in Latvia and all settled and a good job and my own apartment. But I realized that I see myself with this person building a family, so why not? And anyway, I'm kind of a crazy person, easygoing, so I decided to risk it all to do that.
So it wasn't a hard decision necessarily.
No, I cannot say it was a hard decision. I mean, it really depends on the person, I would say, because it's not the first time I'm doing that in my life. And I was always up to big changes, and I was never afraid to start everything from scratch. So yeah, of course, at some point it was sad to leave my family and friends, but on the other hand, it was my new sort of family at stake. So I cannot say it was really, really hard decision.
You're going for your future, basically, right?
Yeah, and of course I knew that it might not work, but again, I think this is something that is always worth to risk.
And did you research Romania throughout the preparation period? So before you moved to Brașov, right?
Yeah, I moved to Brașov, and answering your question, no, I didn't. And to be honest, I didn't know anything about Romania up until that point, especially because Latvia and Romania doesn't have that much any kind of relation between these two countries. So yeah, I just knew that it's Dracula Castle.
That it exists.
Yeah, and then I didn't even know what's the weather there, what's the nature. And when I started to speak with my ex-husband, he informed me that this is a beautiful country, and I started to get some information that it has mountains and about the climate and so on and so forth. But yeah, honestly, I didn't make any research. And of course, after some conversations, I knew that this is not very, developed country or socially protected country where you are socially protected. So yeah, I knew where I was going, but not deeply, so to say.
Well, definitely not as detailed as you know it now. Because you have lived in Romania for how much?
Actually, 5 years. Just in the beginning of November, it was 5-year anniversary since I'm here. So yeah, quite a while.
Congratulations. I mean, I hope that it's still congratulations at this point in time.
Yeah, I have no problem with Romania. It's all okay.
And how did Romania land with you? Like the first time when you arrived there and you started settling down, how did the country land with you? What opinion did you make of it?
Well, of course, first, I would say it was like 50% of I really thought it's really, really beautiful country. And to be honest, 50% was landing on the fact that it's a bit behind than the rest of the Europe. And of course, I was comparing with my home country. And in my home country, yeah, we also have corruption and all that, but still it's well maintained, it's clean, and the government is taking care of the historical objects. That was I was really sad when I saw that the country is not taken care of properly. So that was my first impression. A part of the, as I said, 50% being mesmerized by the beauty of the country.
But then the 50% indeed looking at all the historical monuments and just seeing how they are not being restored or not being taken into account by public.
Exactly. And things like even because, as you know, you can stay here for like 3 months and then you need to register yourself.
How did that go?
Well, of course, I was a bit not shocked because due to my life experience, it's hard to shock me. I was just seeing a big difference again between Latvia and Romania because here the bureaucracy is still blooming as its best. And I had to really struggle for 2 weeks in order to collect all the papers. So yeah, that was another thing that I noticed from the start because I had to face it. Yeah, and that was another thing that really was very, very obvious for me in the very beginning that the bureaucracy is still here and actually the government doesn't seem to be willing to change it anytime soon. This is how it looks still now, I think. So yeah.
I know that there have been some projects that the previous governments tried to put into place, but nothing concrete came out of it. In terms of IT and in terms of digitalizing all of the administrative system, it's just left to people who want to do something on a local level. I think that would be the status quo at the moment.
Yeah, and I think it has something to do with the corruption as well. Because if it's all going to be upgraded, a lot of employees will have to be fired, roughly saying. So yeah, this is the big difference between Romania and Latvia, that in Latvia, it's really all digitalized long time ago. And the process is much simpler. You can submit a lot of things online. You can receive online. So yeah, here, I think it's going to take a while until it's gonna happen.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, it's not a question of technology. It really boils down to the mentality of the people.
Yeah, and the situation in general, I mean, in government. And what I was really wondering, why I keep hearing people complaining about communist times, about communists, but in the same time, they have the same approach still themselves. So when you have to go with one paper to 3 different spots and you have to get the signature in order to get another signature and then you have to get back to the initial spot, well, this is a bit too much.
And you don't know if that will work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then they will say, you know what, you filled it.
You filled it wrong. Yes, I love that.
Yeah, but it's not saying anywhere. That's the main point here. And I think that it depends on from the employee to employee that you face actually in the government department, because they just, I don't know, they just do whatever they think they want to do. I don't know how to explain that, but yeah.
So there is a kind of freedom in Romanian institutions. It's just that it might be wrongly implemented.
Yeah, and I was actually at least pleased with the fact that you can still pay the bills online and you have the applications. So after I learned that, I was really happy because I was already imagining that I'll have to go to the post office and stay in the queue of 500 old ladies, in order to pay the bills. So yeah, this is already promising that they at least implemented that.
What other notable culture shock moments did you experience in Romania that you can remember of?
Regarding to the shock, I would probably mention the streets and, I mean, generally speaking, places being dirty. As in, people here, they are also complaining about the situation in the country, situation in the government and everything. But in the same time, they are being such a pigs, especially when you go to a picnic place in summer or whatever, spring. I mean really popular spots, especially that are near Brasov, because people are not willing to go somewhere more far. And of course, everyone is doing the barbecues somewhere around. And when you see the tons of garbage left there, it's really devastating. And in my opinion, if you're complaining about the situation in this country, just start from yourself. And of course,
just start small.
Yeah, and also, of course, I was a bit shocked when I saw the beautiful old Brasov and some writings being there on the walls. I understand that not all people are having common sense and they still do that, but it should be taken care of because it's the old city, it's the face, so to say, of Brasov. It should be really taken care of, and seems nobody cares. So that was another. So yeah, in saying generally, it's kind of city being dirty. But I have to mention that after I saw other parts of the country, well, Transylvania is still good.
other parts of the country like Bucharest?
Yeah, like Bucharest and like, I don't know, even when you just pass through Transylvania and when you go towards Bucharest and you get outside of Transylvania, sort of, so to say, and you start to enter on that area where the highway starts, so to say. It's a different thing. And
The one to Constanza?
yeah, that's also another separate story, which I was shocked. But we were talking about the beginning of my staying here, but in Constanza I was shocked last year, so that was another shock. I was actually really devastated about the fact that when I saw also Constanza, and I already knew about the other parts of the country, that this country has it all: mountains, sea, everything. Yeah, and the sea was also so dirty. I mean, the seaside, and not maintained, all the old buildings, and the situation on the beaches also was really awful. Like, you could see the cigarettes all over, and also the garbage. That's something that I'm really sad about it. First of all, because my son has to live here and grow up here, and it's really sad that it's happening this way. And again, comparing to my country, we also had that, but many years ago. And after that, the fines were implemented. So now, if police is always checking, they're actually always patrolling the beaches, and if they see you smoking, you will get a pretty big fine. I think this is the only way, sadly, how you can educate the people. So maybe it would work if they would start to do something like this here.
Yeah, that's something that I wanted to ask, because in a way, I feel that Romanians really put a lot of pressure on their communist past when they try to discuss our current situation. And they do put a lot of blame, of course, on it. But in the end, Latvia also was a socialist country. Of course, I'm not going to compare the histories because I do not know enough about Latvian history per se. But the mentality, as you mentioned, the mentality is different. And indeed, I wanted to ask, what actions or what was the vibe that made Latvian people realize that maybe they should let go of their communist past or their communist trauma and enter into this new way of being? In which, yeah, if we need to change a certain behavior, then you might introduce bigger fines, and then the police needs to reinforce them, because it cannot just happen overnight.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have to upset you. It was not the fact that people suddenly decided, or I don't know, over the years decided to get over the communist past. It's just, unfortunately, in Latvia, people were really fixed on the fact that Russia occupied them, that Russia forced them to join the Soviet Union, and they wanted to get rid of everything that can possibly remind about this. And of course, plus, indeed, it's just different mentality. I would say Latvians are just a bit different in a way that Romanians, to be honest, seem to me a bit lazy, I would say. It's like,
compared to Latvians.
Yeah, like it's this very popular saying in Romania, asta este.
It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. And until, I'm sorry, your butt is not burning, you're not gonna stand up and do something. So yeah, and Latvians are quite different in that mentality aspect. So they don't do that, especially because, again, we are not their only pure Latvians. There are huge amount of people who are really mixed, including me, for example. I'm having mixed family, so I'm more Russian, but in the same time, I cannot be compared with Russian from Russia because I already have that Baltic mix. So that mix that we have there makes it a bit different. So Russian Latvians, we are more active, I would say, probably like that. The fact that we entered the European Union also changed a lot for Latvia. They realize that they can get funds in order to maintain and take care of all our historical monuments and objects and national parks and so on. So they use it at maximum. So everything what we have now repaired, maintained and renovated, it's for European Union funds. Here, for example, the difference is that they know that they cannot profit from this, so nobody cares and they don't even try to use it. So that would be probably the difference between our mentality and Romanian mentality, like just being a bit lazy. I don't know even how to express this.
The interesting part about it is that I do understand that aspect of Romanian people. I see it as a kind of extreme behavior in the sense of you either have super lazy people or you have insanely ambitious people that will work their asses off to do whatever they want to do. Because, for example, I'm thinking in the case of abandoned buildings, of course, like if you go around Bucharest, and that's a city that really marks me in a negative way regarding the respect that people have towards their buildings. I lived in my first university year on Magheru, which is basically the Champs-Élysées of Bucharest, or it used to be known as that. I lived in a historical building, which now has been completely closed. It had a cinema, the Patria Cinema, in case anybody knows of it. And now everything is just abandoned and obviously not taken care of. I also found out back then from some administration people that apparently, so this is a complex of buildings basically, and it was held by a cement block and somewhere in the middle. And they discovered that specific block just disappeared. I have no clue why or how, but somebody took that block, and apparently because of that, the complex is even more unstable than it was before. So in case of an earthquake, which is what Bucharest people feared the most because of 1977, there was a huge earthquake, a lot of damage. You can imagine that people do not feel really safe. And I understand why they closed off the whole cinema complex as well. But when you go there and you see that this is literally a piece of history and it would be so nice to renovate it and put it back together, and then it's like, okay, so why isn't this happening? And that goes to what you were saying about the corruption and people not, having enough funds to take out of the projects or...
Yeah, it's just not interesting for them because they cannot profit from that. And that's really, really sad.
And then at the other end of the spectrum, you have an organization that is called Monumente Uitate, so Forgotten Monuments. And basically what I do know about it is that it was founded by some people who wanted to restore all of these historical monuments and get the community involved in it. So act more as a civic project than just let's put some money in and renovate it.
And did they succeed?
Yeah, they are succeeding. They are mapping out, I think they started with buildings in different villas that they could find in Transylvania. And they're moving now towards the rest of the country, which I find amazing. And I wish them a lot of luck. They were actually looking for volunteers. So if anybody wants to do that, it's Monumente Uitate, and you will see it in the link in the show notes. But for example, you have this polar opposites that coexist in the same place. You have the people who just look at their heritage being gone, and then you have the people who really do whatever they can to save and maintain their identity through historical buildings and other things. So
this is really nice, but as I said, I don't want to make a impression that Latvians are so... We also have our own problems, mental problems, so to say, as a nationality. But yeah, and we also, by the way, we also had this situation when a lot of monuments were really abandoned and they were staying in rotting. But what I really liked about my country is that once the opportunity came in 2005 when we entered in the European Union, they used it. So here they could do the same, but I just hope that it's going to come, maybe some time will pass and maybe finally they will start to do it here as well. Because, yeah, Latvia also was not always so nice and done. And, yeah, it took some time for, I don't know, some parts of government to realize that this should be done. And actually, I have to mention that, yeah, indeed, Latvians are caring more about the historical objects and monuments. But in the same time, I would like to mention what I really admire about Romanians in this matter is that they are really devoted to their traditions. And for example, for me, it was a shock, in a good way, with a plus sign, a huge plus. And when I started to party here, and it doesn't matter if it was from work or with friends or with my ex-husband friends, everybody is dancing. Everybody is listening to the traditional music and everybody knows how to dance traditional music. And it's kind of a really fun thing for Romanian people. And I really admire that because it's so awesome. In Latvia, you will ever not find anyone who would actually listen to Latvian traditional songs at a party of youngsters. Maybe you will find it somewhere in the countryside, I don't know, probably, but never in between amongst the young people. Only the people who actually do it professionally, which are having a hobby and they are dancing or singing in the national Latvian choir or the dancing groups. Other than that, like ever. And most of all, at the wedding, you will also never ever see that.
Oh no! At Romanian weddings, that is mandatory.
Yeah, I know. It's a bit sometimes too much, I think, but still, it's a really nice devotion. It's really nice devotion to the culture, I think, and it's really nice that Romanian people are passing it from one generation to another, so it's not fading.
Definitely. I want to get into another spicy topic regarding Romania: education. Because there is a huge debate on how the educational system works or not in Romania. And since you have your son in preschool, well, he is in kindergarten, right?
Yeah, Mijlocie.
So you had some time to adjust yourself to the mentality that is being employed in certain kindergartens or in the education system in general, and also to the system itself. What are your first impressions about the Romanian educational system?
Well, I would like just to point out that the mentality is not very different from us. I'm talking about the Russians now, mostly because Latvians are different. Yeah, but the first impression was that for me, that's still the most frustrating fact here, that they put too much pressure and too much importance to a discipline and to the activities that are preparing you for school. And when I'm talking about this topic, I only want to swear because these kids, let's imagine a 3-year-old or 4-year-old. It has been already a proven fact that kids at that age, they need to move, they need to explore, they have to go outside, and actually they need to learn kind of through the games in kind of a game form. And here they put them to draw, to I don't know, to make some activities like all day long.
Like just sit at a table and do stuff.
Yeah, sometimes they do something else, but mostly it's all about these kind of activities. I mean, I understand that it's also okay and it's also should be done. And I was lately attending a meeting, ședință, in the kindergarten, because the school year started and so on. And the teacher said that that your kid should be able to stay at least 15 minutes still and perform the activity that you actually gave him. And if he's not doing that, something is wrong. Well, I already got triggered from that because it's not true, because all the kids are different. And especially if a kid is with a temper, like mine, for example, if he doesn't like something, if it's not interesting for him, if it's not his thing, he will not do it. And that's it.
Good luck with that in the Romanian system.
Yeah. So they still want kids to be comfortable, to be obedient, to be comfortable, to be in the system. And that is so outdated and so old fashioned. And I really hope that that's going to ever change, because it's really sad. It's not normal. And when I asked the teacher why are they actually doing this and why they're having this kind of opinion, her answer was, well, the expectations at school are really high. And if you start to prepare your kid from now, it's going to be easier for him when he's going to a first grade. And I'm sorry, but he's 4. He will have all his life to study, to, be set in the box, to have some certain rules and obligations. But for now, he's 4.
He's just a kid.
Yeah, but they still, and what is really sad that it comes from the teachers, because who else should change this system? I mean, on the general level, starting from the government, I mean, other than them, because they are inside there, they are working with kids, they are finishing schools, they are finishing the psychology courses or whatnot. And they are the ones who are still pushing for that, which is really sad. And again, I want to mention the bright side about attitude towards children in general. Here in Romania, people in general are very, very child-friendly. And in Latvia, for example, you will not find this. So my kid, he's going to each and every person, sometimes in the trolley, and saying, "Bună ziua, ce mai faci?" And people are really happy to speak with him, and they're really open, and they're smiling, and they're trying to give some candies, or I don't know. And this is happening mostly everywhere. So that's a good point of people here in Romania attitude towards the children. But what in regards to kindergartens, yeah, the situation being fixed on a discipline, that's really, really sad. And yeah.
And it does shape the child to be obedient and be afraid of authorities throughout his life. And then we see a society that looks like the one we have today in Romania, where people are afraid of questioning authority. They are afraid to stand up for themselves. If they're not afraid, at least they find it hard. It's not necessarily their natural response to something.
It's like a vicious circle, indeed. I mean, we still have that also in Latvia. I will not lie. I will not say that we don't have that. But in Latvia, in kindergartens, they are going with the kids outside a lot. And if it's a good weather, and if the time permits, the weather permits, they would stay outside for the whole day. And they just go inside to eat and to sleep, logically. Here, it's maximum 1 hour, maybe. And it's in the best case. And as soon as it gets a bit colder, I'm talking about end of October, November, that's it. The kids are staying inside. And this is something that should be really changed on a general level, because it's not okay. It's not okay for the mental health of children. It's not okay for the physical health, I would say.
No, because they have a lot of energy to consume.
Yeah, first of all, it's the energy. And secondly, it's not healthy in general to stay 8 hours inside the class, which is first of all overheated.
Because yeah, in Romania, if there's something like, people really love the heat in their houses, like 26 degrees in winter, at least tropical t-shirt time, like and yeah, well, the curent, which is basically the draft, I feel that thing. I don't know if it's genetically predisposed or what the hell is wrong with that, but I feel it.
Well, maybe it's because still Romania, it's a bit kind of on southern part of Europe. And I really noticed that I'm just judging from the being amongst my colleagues, for example. And when I'm feeling really hot at work and I cannot stand it and I have to change my winter shoes because I cannot stay in winter shoes, people are having like 2 pullovers and 3 scarves on them. And they are really close to arriving to the point where they are going to put also a shapka and a jacket on themselves. Oh, it's so cold. And I'm like, really? What's happening? So yeah, maybe it's really a genetical thing.
Me and my partner are having these discussions all the times. He likes to laugh about it. Let me just put it like that. He's like, oh yeah, it's the draft thing again, right? I'm like, And no, we do not have 26 degrees in our apartment. It's decent, cool weather. But still, some things, they just get passed on. I don't even know how.
Yeah, but it's really maybe genetically, I don't know. And another thing what I would like to mention regarding the kindergartens here is that if you want to have something more decent for your child in order to get him to a kindergarten, a private kindergarten, the prices are just, so it's around 2,000 lei for a month, which I find really over exaggerated in this case.
Yeah, for the salary levels in Romania, it is. And for the lifestyle expenses, it's, crazy.
Yeah.
Obviously, you love your son and you love your family, and you do have a positive experience in Romania because you're still there. And at the same time, we are noticing I think it's the biggest brain drain in Romania's history, with all of the people going out of the country, myself included, and trying to figure out a better future for themselves. But you choose to stay, and you choose to stay also for your son. I want to ask, why is that? How is that piecing out?
Well, first of all, in Latvia, of course, if I would think about going back home with my son, but again, in Latvia, yeah, indeed, it's a bit better quality of life, a bit better salaries, and but again, if you compare the average salary with the average expenses, it's still quite the same like here. So life is not easy there as well. And I also started to think about the fact that the education there is also not so good, and it's not valued much outside of the country. Only some private universities that are basically coming. It's like a branch. We have few that are actually the main ones are from Europe, and then in Latvia we just have the branch. So of course, when you get the diploma, it's also valid in Europe. Other than that, I personally know the situations when a person would have a education in university, and then he went to UK and he wanted to start the masters, and they said, well, no, with this diploma you should start from the beginning. So I was just thinking about this aspect, that in Latvia, for example, life is not much better than here if you really roughly compare it. And of course, the most important thing is that his father is here, and they are really having really close relationship. So he's taking care of him as much as I do. So I couldn't just separate them. That's not right. That's not correct. And that's why for now I have to stay here. And if my son grows up and he decides to go somewhere else, it's going to be already his choice, if you understand what I mean. If he wants to go for a better life somewhere else, then of course I would wish that for him, and then we will see. So until now, until he's 18, I'm here, and that's the major two general things was the fact that his father is here, and the second thing is that, for example, in Latvia, it's not much brighter future for him, and I would say from the educational part, I think here it's even better.
After he gets out of kindergarten.
School is going to follow, and the fact that you don't have even, how do you call it, cantina, which is also a shock again. Yeah, that's also, well, we have to survive the school.
Yeah, he needs to go with a little sandwich.
Jesus, no, that's awful. Well, yeah, we'll have to survive also the school, and then we'll see what's going to happen. Yeah, and actually, this is, I don't know if it's really related, but what I also wanted to mention that at least here in Romania, we still have a nice food, which is really natural, less or more. You can still find the good food. Yeah, it's same in Latvia. So that's why when people were asking me, like, how did you move in Romania? It's such a low third world country, and it's not even worse than in Latvia. Well, first of all, it has its advantages. And when you asked why I choose to stay here, also in Latvia, we have a really, really huge percentage of people who are leaving Latvia for the same purposes, for searching for a better life. And so that was also a thing I had to consider when choosing if to stay here or leave.
But yeah, we will see what happens, because at least in Romania, I don't know how it is in Latvia, but at least in Romania, we're beginning to see the social effect of this mass migration. Like the children that are left behind, or the new generation of Romanians / other nationalities, or that live in other countries and they don't really feel like they're Romanian. It's going to be an interesting period, I think, for the country.
I literally have like two people who I know personally. So both of them, they actually grew up in Italy, but they are Romanians. And then they moved back when they were already, I don't know, grown ups, so to say, 20, 19, whatever. So they do speak in Romanian, but they don't even know how to write grammatically correct. So they are Romanians, but they're kind of Italians, but they are Romanians. So they live here. They came back, but they cannot. They don't even know how to write grammatically correct, because they do speak perfectly, but what refers to the writing, they suck. I'm sorry, because they grew up in another country. So that's also, and it's so interesting. I mean, it's weird, but it's interesting.
Right? It's a new chapter, I think, for the country.
That's for sure. And also, I'm very proud of the fact that I think I'm the only Latvian here in Brasov. And my son is the only Latvian, Romanian, Russian boy here. So yeah, that's nice.
We should get you guys a medal or something, like honorary citizens of Brasov. But what language do you speak with your son?
Russian. So I spoke with him Russian since he was born, because first of all, I studied this matter and I read some articles about bilingual kids, and it's really strongly advised not to mix the languages. So one parent should speak one language and another one. So like this, they learn faster, and it's easier for them to adjust. And indeed, now he's speaking both fluently. Of course, Romanian a bit better because he has more. He's having Romanian environment every day, and his father and the kindergarten. But yeah, he speaks both languages, and sometimes he he translates to me Romanian words to Russian because I don't know what is he saying there, and I'm saying, can you please translate? And he's like, yeah, that's cute, but sometimes it's really scary because he's just 4. But yeah, it's nice.
Oh, kids learn fast.
Yeah, and it makes also me to learn faster Romanian because it's a shame not to understand everything what your kid says there sometimes. So yeah, it's fun.
So if you think about your Romanian experience, what made it good until now? What did you do to make it good?
Well, I think people in general, because as a nationality, I find Romanians really warm and open and quite easygoing. Then it's the work environment, because it's weirdly, but here I have much more stable job than I had back in Latvia. So back in Latvia it was well paid but quite unstable. Here it's a stable thing. And of course the fact that I have a lot of Russians around me, and some of them became really true friends, not just some colleagues that I hang out with. So of course that's a huge thing that made my life here much easier. Probably also the fact that the mentality of Romanians is quite similar to Russian mentality, so I don't feel like I'm in a very different environment. So that's another thing. And also I need to mention the fact that I'm really easygoing and I'm adapting fast and easy. I'm actually like a cockroach. I can survive radiation. So yeah, all of these things, and yeah, of course, the nature. That's also a really important point for me, because I come from a really small and green country, and even the capital is surrounded by the forests, and anytime you want you can go and have some fresh air. So for me that's really important here, that I'm in Brasov. It's really stunning. I mean, the nature, and I can always visit the forest, or I can always go hiking and have some fresh air. That's also actually really important, because I would not be able to live in a city such as Bucharest ever, because I'm a really nature person, saying roughly. So yeah.
You would have a tough time there, I would think.
Oh no, I would just die there after 2 days. I don't know. No, I can't.
It's understandable. And I think we are at the last question of this chit chat. What do you advise other internationals to make the best out of their Romanian experience?
Well, it depends how long they intend to stay here. So, of course, first of all, if they intend to stay here for a really long period, they should get a good job. That's certainly. And of course, they should visit everything that's possible to visit, because it's really amazing. Once you have the free time, you should explore Romania. And of course, I'm talking about Transylvania mostly. But I know that even in Moldovan part, there are a lot of monasteries and things that you really should see. So that would be my advice to people who are staying here and having free time, not like me. It's hard to advise anything, because everyone has really different life situations and really different origins, because it really matters where do you come from. I think that for people who are more close to Romanian nationalities, like, I don't know, Spanish or some sort of Latin American countries, for them it's also quite easy, because the mentality is still, it's somewhere less or more the same.
Yeah, they can connect to different elements of the Romanian culture through the Latin heritage, I think.
Yeah.
Well, that is interesting, because indeed, I think that for a person who comes from the East, they can go towards the Slavic side of the Romanian culture. For somebody who's from the West, they can recognize that as well. It's quite the melting pot of cultures, I would think.
Yeah, and this is what I like actually about Romanians, and about the Romanian language itself, that it's a really interesting and nice mixture of different cultures. So Romanian has Slavic influence. So if you're coming from the Slavic parts, you still can find something for yourself to be warm, in your soul. And then if you're coming from a Latin origins, then again, you will still find plenty of things that it's close to your heart. And that's really amazing. And I think that if Romania will develop itself a bit better in, 10, 20 years, it's really a great potential to have a lot of migrants here. And yeah, I just hope that this country will have a better, and just have a cool life indeed.
Well then, Alisa, thank you so much for this interview.
Thanks to you too.
Thanks for tuning in to the latest episode of the Wonders podcast. We are actually gathering stories for the next seasons. And in case you are an international who has Romania close to their heart, in case you have a story to tell, please write that down at stories@wonders.com. And that is stories@WOANDERERS.com. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We're actually bringing up quite some interesting stories between the international community and Romania, as well as getting you more into the traditional side of this beautiful country. We also have a YouTube channel. You're free to subscribe there as well. Give us a like, share, that social media shabam. Thank you, mulțumesc, bye-bye, and la revedere.